Hey everyone, this is Pure. I have a massive update to my farming strategy, and this time it's actually a giga version of the same strat from my previous video. So if you haven't watched it, I'll put a link in the description. But essentially now with the new version of the strat is I'm capable of using a single nightmare key and being able to spam the same dungeon by having new instances of it using the same key. So with only a single key, you can do it as many times as you want. So essentially, similar to how it was before, but you'll want to, um, you'll use your key. Okay, so that's the first step. Use your key, open your map. You have the dungeon here, right? But instead, I'm gonna go do something else. So in my case, I'll just go like, I'll do a run of refuge, not refuge, Eridu. Yeah, ruins of Eridu. That's what it's called. And then what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna do half of it. So I'll go do that now. Right now I'm playing with a controller just because I'm being lazy, and I'm playing a barb. So I don't need to aim. So let's see here. Let's go towards the ruins, and you'll see this will be pretty quick, and it's actually gonna be quite interesting. Okay, 7 remaining. Let's see. All right. So here, this is where it gets interesting. Essentially, I'm gonna walk over here just to trigger the second part of the dungeon. Now it's triggered. I'm gonna teleport out. I'm actually gonna go towards my nightmare dungeon, which is right next to a waypoint. To be honest, there's a few good spots. Like for example, Blind Burrows. I know Blind Burrows was quite popular a few days ago. So I would suggest, I know for a fact that there's a nightmare dungeon key for Blind Burrows. I would probably suggest farming this. I'm gonna do Cultist Refuge because it's also slay all, and like I just said, like right before, is I really just enjoy that mechanic. We go in here. Also, if you want to really min-max this strategy, I would probably suggest trying to craft a key that, you know, has like all the magic find and you know the negative modifiers that aren't too annoying for a build, because you're gonna be spamming the same exact key over and over, so it will have the same modifiers. So if you're able to get some good magic find, well, that's just better for you because you'll have even more loot, you know, than normal. On top of the fact that, you know, you're farming nightmares, so it's already better. Let's see here. I got the key. Technically, I'm opening this door. I do this part here. I'm going to leave the dungeon as soon as I kill these mobs. So I'm going to... yeah, I'll just kill a shed. I'll leave the dungeon. I'm going to reuse the portal and hopefully it works. This was actually a suggestion made by one of the comments on Reddit, so I do appreciate it. It did not work. Let's see here. Maybe that dungeon did reset. I'll go check. Alright. So, now travel to Fallen Chambers. We'll do that again. Hopefully it worked, but we'll see. Yeah, there you go. And then we go back to the Nightmare Dungeon. And hopefully gonna be a new Nightmare Dungeon instance.
I need time to do that.
All right, moment of truth. It is. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah. So there it is. There's a way to farm Nightmare Dungeons in the loop. It's a bit of a longer setup because there's a bit of back and forth. But I mean, once you're in, you're in. You know, doesn't matter. It's the same key. As you can see, I still have the same amount of revives. It's a completely new instance. Enemies are back. It's literally just one key for infinite usage. Yeah, so go to Kilvishad and try to port back. Does that work? There it is. As you can see, Nightmare Dungeon immediately. So again, like I said, takes a bit of a longer setup because you need to essentially do 3 like instances before falling into the loop. So just to quickly recap, you're gonna want to use your key. That's the first step. Most important part is the first thing you do is you use the key that you want to farm. The key that you're gonna use is the dungeon you will be spamming after the series of steps. Then once you have used the key, you want to do another dungeon entirely. So in my case, I just use ruins. It could be anything, doesn't matter. You're gonna do half of it. Once you're in the second part of that dungeon, you're gonna go back and actually do the first half of your nightmare dungeon. But now instead, it won't, now with the new iteration where you're spamming the nightmare dungeon, it's not gonna auto reset. You have to go back again into another normal dungeon and do the first half, and then you can start spamming the nightmare dungeon you want. So it takes a bit longer to set up, you know, because we're talking 3 half dungeons that you need to do. But after that, you just fall into the loop, you know, and once you're in the loop, you're good. So long as you don't leave the game. As soon as you leave the game, though, Nightmare Dungeon is gone and your key is gone. So just keep that in mind. So if ever you get disconnected by the Blizzard servers, well, too bad. You need a new key. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this updated version. If you're not entirely sure of how to proceed, I'll write the steps in detail in the description. But you should probably also watch the previous video just to make sure that you kind of understand the idea behind why there's this new version. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy your night. Peace. Pure out.